Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to VidaneTV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. here on the call, and alongside me, as always, on a Thursday night, A.A. Ron, Aaron Creed. Aaron, it is NEP's night in America, brother. How we feeling?
Oh, we're ready to go. We're ready to cook for this penultimate race of the year. Always enjoy saying that word.
That's what it's all about. How about this pole sitter? Corey Casagrande in the 7CT. He's going to roll off P1. Ryan Messer, very quick on the big tracks. That one truck going to roll off P2.
Yeah, I think it's all those Chalu decals on the side of that one. But we see John Peters making up row number 2 and Evan Boyer in the outside. So there'll be 2 to watch, of course, as we continue along here. And 1.5 mile Kansas Speedway, there's Jason Ricker and Johnny Miller in row number 3.
You see Dale Glester, Steve Daddio, 99 and the 1. They equal 100 there in row number 4. In behind them, you've got Colby Burkholder in the 29 and the other one truck of Jeffrey Bradway.
I guess those contingency decals. You got to fit those contingencies in. I think it's covering up the 3 tonight. But Kenny Kibbe and Adam Henry making up the row number 6. Kibbe definitely one to watch in the catbird seat right now for the championship.
You see Brent Roy, the Tundra Kid, as we call him here in the NEP Truck Series. Camry Kid elsewhere. There's the 44 of Scott McDonald. He's got one of the coolest paint schemes on the helmet, I think, in this crew here. You can see the trucks rolling off pit road. There's Dan Winter in the 81 truck, going to roll off P15. Brian Ship in the 48, the YRD machine. He's rolling off P16.
Solid qualifying runs for those guys in the middle of the field. There we see Austin Belke and a rare appearance by Reggie Parent. Starting in 18th, we'll look to see if he can move up through the field tonight.
RSAL TV's very own Ryan Salvatore rocking that 12 truck in P19. He hooked us up with some notes for this race here, too. We'll get into that as well. And gentleman Jeffrey Brown in that 20 truck, he's going to roll off P20. And we got him mic'd up once again. We're going to keep going through that starting lineup. But Jeffrey, what's the plan here tonight at Kansas Motor Speedway?
The plan is to survive. The plan is to stay fast. This is typically a clean and green kind of race. I'm running on about 5 hours of sleep right now, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
100%. It's Jeff Brown. I'm trying to push 19 buttons. I too have had collectively maybe 5 hours of sleep in about a week. So it's Jeff Brown as we take the green flag here at the virtual Kansas Speedway. This is going to be a banger.
Yeah, great timing there with the with pushing of the buttons there to get a pretty sweet look at the start there. And John Peters wasting no time. He makes it 3 wide and he goes under the front row starters, and it looks like he's going to take the lead. A lot of 2 and 3 and even 4 wide racing on this 1.5 mile to start things off tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun race to watch here. Just taking a look at the stats at RSAL TV. You wouldn't think of it as they're racing right now. John Peters going to lead lap number 1 in that 09 truck. We've only had 3 total cautions here at Kansas Motor Speedway in the last 3 races here in the NEP series. So put the short track drivers on the big track, turn them loose, let them eat, and they put on a show here. We're still side by side for the lead. Ryan Messer in that one truck trying to make it happen up on the high side. The 09 of John Peters holding on to the bottom.
Yeah, Messer's trying to fight, and he's trying to get any lap lead that he can in that number 1 truck and any bonus point that he can just to kind of keep himself in the hunt for the championship. He comes into this race now with a 21-point deficit on Kenny Kibbe, so he's going to need almost a miracle here, pretty much, or a really solid finish. Right now, he's going to gain some spots for sure if the race were to end now with a nose in front in the lead and Kenny Kibbe back in about 12th or 13th. But we all know better than that. The race is definitely not ending now.
You can see these guys are going back and forth, too close to call. They're at the line. Give the spot to Peters that time by. They're going to be swapping leaders back and forth here, I think, at Kansas all night long. I hope everybody has a good time, but I'm going to need one of these guys to lead at least 38 laps because that's my tiebreaker here tonight in net bets. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, well, you let the cat out of the bag there. That's for sure. But, yeah, we see a couple former winners at Kansas in the field tonight. Ryan Messer is one of them. Regan Parent is I always get mixed up because his real name's Regan Parent, but we always are tempted to say Reggie. They're getting pretty close there in that battle for the lead. Zane Farrell's another top past winner here at Kansas. He's not in the field tonight with the Tonka truck. I think we've seen the last of the Tonka truck, unfortunately, this season. But some pushing going up towards the front. Steven Daddio trying to make it 3 wide, trying to split Ryan Messer. And Jason Ricker, he's just having a good time in 4th right now, watching it all unfold.
Yeah, those top 3 wide at the line that time by. Going to give that lap to the 99 to Steve Daddio. You can see they are beating and banging, exchanging a little paint, a little bit of decal work on those trucks, but they're holding on to it. 5 laps into this one, 70 to go. This race went green to checkered last season here at the virtual Kansas Speedway. 70 laps was on the board. We platted a little +5 to the counter, and we're going to see what these drivers are able to do. Great racing all the way through the field, and the lead right now is just too hot. John Peters going to lead himself another lap there. Ryan Messer, it looked like he took a quick little break to grab his breath, and he tucked right back into the tire tracks of the 99, and just as I say that, he's going to turn that thing left and try and get a little bit of draft. Nope, now he's going, see, he's watching the broadcast, I'm telling you.
We sometimes wonder if that's the case, because they seem to read our minds or we read their minds. I don't know which order it goes, but oh boy, Steven Daddio and John Peters connecting there in that battle lead. Somehow they saved it, and Peters continues to lead that lap. Ryan Messer had he had a view full of things there, and we were talking about Regan Parent trying to march the field. Well, there he is, right there in the mix now, moving into 4th on the outside of Jason Ricker. And he could definitely be one to contend with tonight. He's doing nothing but trophy hunting. I believe that's the term they call it. Regan's only run 3 events this year, so not really in the hunt for anything. So except to go out there for the win.
100%. You can see this great big pack all the way throughout the field. 3 wide there for the 3rd position. The 09 of John Peters holding on to the lead. Daddio up on the high side trying to make a little magic happen. Look at this gaggle of trucks back here in the second half of the top 10. Pole sitter Corey Casagrande dropping back almost outside the top 10, holding on to P10 right now in that 7 CT. A little side-by-side action with that 13 truck of Bradway. And how about this? The Screaming Eagle, Johnny Miller, in that 6 truck. Caw-caw! He's up in the top 10 too.
Well, this is interesting because one of the keys to victory we saw that RSL noted for us is good long run pace. Now, these guys all seem to be focusing on short run pace at the moment, or at least it seems that way, unless it's like we saw in the Daytona 500 where they're all just conserving fuel. I highly doubt that's the case, though, and we'll see how that all works out. Maybe they are, though, because maximum of 35 green flag laps on fuel tonight. We're running 75 total laps, so I don't think that's that's quite a stretch to make that happen all on all in just 2 tanks. But we'll have to see. We're probably going to see them come into pit, even if we remain green, at least twice.
You can see they're still side by side for the 2nd position. 99 to Daddio holding on to the lead. We drop back just outside the top 10. Can't really tell because everybody's right up in there in a great big group. But there's tonight's sponsored driver, the 26 truck, the Flow Racing Tundra of Brent Roy. He's the tonight's presenting sponsor of tonight's. Tonight. Let me just say that 6 more times. He is tonight's presenting sponsor of the Skeeball Arcade 75 here. He finished 4th the last time we were here. Looks like he's well on his way to at least the second half of the top 10. We'll see how this thing unfolds for that 26 truck.
It has been a tough season for the 26 truck. Just a lot of things going on off track. A lot of being unable to seal the deal, late race misfortunes, suspension. It's been a really, really, really tough season for Brent.
Had a lot of speed in that 26 truck and was able to kind of capitalize on a couple of races. But like you said, a couple of bad races, a little bit of bad luck adds up relatively quickly.
Paul, with your tonight, I thought you were going to break out into song there and sing some Phil Collins.
We might do that on VidaneTV after dark, because I learned some new lyrics here on the ride from the airport. We'll keep those for later on, though.
Oh boy.
Side by side still for the lead. Peters and Daddio. I could watch these guys race pretty much anywhere. Ryan Messer right in there as well. We call him VidaneTV's Iron Man because he's run every series that we've broadcast here on VidaneTV, and he's won in every series we broadcast here on VidaneTV. You can actually shoot right on over to our YouTube page, click on that live tab, and take a look at all 679 live broadcasts that we've done since our inception back in March 2020. Ryan Messer hasn't won all 600 plus of them, but he's won a whole lot of them, and all those races are available on demand over on the YouTube page, and very, 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 very soon those are going to be available on Roku. That's right. We're going to be streaming some of the old NEP races as well as a lot of other VidaneTV content over on Ikuza TV, East Coast USA TV, any Roku TV, any Amazon Prime enabled device. There's an app for the Ikuza TV in both the Android and the Apple stores. We're about to put sim racing in front of a whole bunch of new eyes here at VidaneTV. Could not be happier, and it's going to segue right into the real racing season. As racing season, once we get rid of the 3 feet of snow in New England, all that stuff melts away. We get a little bit of heat on the track. Do that cyclone theory that Darrell Waltrip always used to talk about. Get that snow melted. Get the race cars out there on track. It's a little bit warmer down here in Florida, though.
Yeah, if we could redirect some of that vortex theory to my driveway here in New Hampshire, it'd be really helpful. I was just in Florida myself, down in Key West, where you typically expect some nice heat down that way. High of 66 on Monday, high of 62 on Tuesday. So, kind of funny to see people strolling around Duval Street with jackets and pants, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think got into the Airbnb with the guys here a couple of minutes ago, and they said, "Hey, do we want to turn the heat on in the pool?" No, we're gonna keep that off. I think it's about 75 right now. It's kind of balmy outside.
And a good look at the Ricker PC Repair sponsored number 6 in the front there. From Regan Parent's front. I was about to say, actually, with the cold weather and the snow, I think Corey Casagrande at first was driving mad in his qualifying run, because I know he's not very thrilled about all the snow in his driveway and on the roads, and he was pretty sick of it this week. But now it seems like he's faded a little bit, but maybe he's working on that long run game as these guys continue to dice it out in this front pack, as we see 7 or 8 trucks all running together still as we continue on. It looks like we're about 17 laps into this run, so probably have, maybe another 15, 17 laps until we see some pit strategy. But right now, everyone kind of letting it all hang out.
Yeah, 100%. Got to give a shout out to all the snow removal contractors, all the plow truck drivers up in the Northeast, because, man, they got clobbered back home with all that snow. I luckily haven't been home since I think mid-January now at this point. I used to do snow removal. I did it for 2 decades. It is not a fun game to play. So I hope everybody's out there watching us in the old plow truck, staying safe out there, and maybe making just a little bit of coin in their pockets. Still side by side, Ryan Messer starting to drop back a little bit in that one truck, all the way to 3rd. You can see they're still side by side, though, for the lead. Daddio and Peters starting to trade a little paint.
Yeah, I see a little bit of banter between the two of them on the radio. The public radio's been a pretty busy place tonight as drivers swapping positions, putting on a show for the fans out here.
Yeah, the side-by-side action, the banter on the radio. We always have the banter on the radio muted for the broadcast for very obvious reasons. Everybody's their own personality, and every once in a while we get a bad word or two. I was actually reminded of that Tuesday night. I made my triumphant return to sim racing as I actually hooked up John Adams' old backup rig from Crew Chief Uncle Al, and we ran the the 94 White Monster ARCA car at Daytona. Came home P15, lead lap, couple of stripes, but not bad.
Sounds like you can't complain about that one, right? For sure.
No, it was pretty fun little race in there. These guys are racing like this place is Daytona. You can see these trucks really able to kind of pull up when you get into the draft just a little bit. You can see Messer trying to almost cut the exit of the corner off, drive down the hill a little bit, and you can see he's kind of bouncing back and forth right now, trying to get a little bit of draft from the 56. A Bollier down on the bottom side there. You can see he's drifting up now into the tire tracks of Jason Ricker, and now he's going to try and split the difference, maybe get himself back onto that podium.
Definitely a lot of Dyson going on right here. It's kind of, this is one of those rare races where we don't see like a clear favorite. It seems like, I mean, John Peters has been one of those guys that's been up there. We said Stadio's really only fallen out of the podium once, and but who knows who we'll be talking to at the end of this night at this point. As we see some of them mixing it up again on the outside. Jeffrey Bradway using that outside groove in the number 13 white and blue scheme this week. And there's Kenny Kibbe. Can't count him out, even though we haven't seen much of him just yet. And he'll more than likely be there toward the end.
Yeah, Kibbe's still holding on to that points lead by 21 markers over that one truck of Ryan Messer. He's got himself a handful of wins. 5 wins for Kibbe, 4 wins for Ryan Messer, 2 wins for Peters, Daddio, and Ricker have 1 apiece. And it was a milestone moment last week with Kenny Kibbe bringing that 4 truck into victory lane. It was his 16th win here in the NEP series in his 98th start. 49 career podiums. That, if my math is correct, is better than 50%.
I think your math is correct. Or fuzzy math going on right here. Fuzzy math always. But, there's the Adam Henry kicking up a little dust there in the 62 truck. Definitely some drivers to watch for sure as we continue to see Colby Burkholder and Adam Henry.
Looks like we've got some green flag pit stops. We got
Alrighty.
Regan Parent, Brent Roy, Jared Adams all coming down on a pit road.
Yeah, some early strategy. And once again, someone like Regan Parent, he's got nothing to lose. So why not try to mix up the strategy, do something a little different than everyone else as you see him come down pit road. This racetrack, as we've talked about, has a history of going on long green flag runs. So he's not really behind the 8 ball unless he gets really unlucky here and a yellow flag comes out. But right now it's still been clean and green despite all the dicing for position.
Yeah, lead lap cars are coming up on lap traffic about 12 seconds ahead. So we'll see if Peters, Daddio, and Ricker decide to come in. We got Ryan Salvatore on pit road now, Colby Burkholder.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how the pit strategy plays out here. We made a mention at the top of the broadcast. There's 2 extra sets of tires down on pit road. These drivers are able to take at any given point on or throughout the racetrack, throughout the race, and they can make it on 35 laps of fuel, but 28 laps into this one, just looking at the lap times right now on Steve Daddio in that 99 truck, look at all the way up into the outside wall, a little bit of sparks there on the right side of the Daddio machine. His best lap of the race so far is a 30.906. Last time by was a 32.5. So these drivers slamming and banging, going all the way around the racetrack. They're losing some time in those tires. So you might try and see a couple of guys conserve tires, maybe back up towards the pack a little bit and maybe make a one-stop race throughout this one. But I've got a feeling everybody's going to come down and use up both of those sets down on pit road.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to agree with that for sure. We see.
Yeah, the longer you stay out, the more you risk falling behind. Curious to see what Kenny Kibbe does. He's a big fan of the undercut. I don't believe has he come in yet.
Still running P7 right now on that same original set of tires, dropping by the end of the pit road right now. So that's a no, yeah. 18 drivers still out there that have not come down pit road. We'll take a peek at Regan Parent. You can see he's already slicing and dicing through the field, trying to get that lap back. He's going to be the first truck 1 lap down in that 17 RKM setup shop ride. Brent Roy a little bit further on behind him. There you see him in the 26 truck. Colby Burkholder came down pit road 2 laps ago, as did Adam Henry and Ryan Salvatore, as you made mention, Jaron Adams there as well. So a handful of drivers still a lap down. You're going to be able to see them kind of drive up through the field because they're about a second and a half quicker a lap as these leaders still staying out trying to maximize their runs. I feel like it's one of those deals where if you know you can make it halfway, you'll be able to make the second half of the race. Yeah, at least at that point, you'll know what the truck's going to feel like on a 35-lap run, maybe even a couple of more laps if these drivers are saving any kind of fuel. But just seeing how these guys are beating and banging, going all over the place, I don't think anybody's saving any kind of fuel.
As a little perspective, you should have about 5 laps of fuel right now. I know Stephen Daddio is going to swing on through, and we'll see what's coming in. I'm going to try to come in this lap and see what happens.
Leaders are pretty spread out, so we're going to follow Jeff Brown in the pit road. We're going to jump on in. Last time we did it was detrimental to.
We're going to miss. Yeah, we're not going to make it.
Oh, no, we're not going to make it. All right, got a little shy on you. We'll jump back up. We'll take a look at Johnny Miller. We'll follow him around.
That is one of the keys, is to stay clean on and off pit road, and you kept it clean even though you didn't make it on there. So, I guess, yeah, when the cameras are showing,
The
that's
smart
the way I
drivers
think
typically
it goes.
practice their pit stops during practice, and this driver may not have practiced a green flag stop.
That's one of the things that actually bit me this past Tuesday night in the Liberty Racing League race at Daytona. I spent half the practice getting the rig set up because it was kind of pish posh together. I don't know what kind of power cord we used, but we made her work. We made it eat. And at that point, I had to get out there, feel the car out. First time me, I was behind the wheel there for, yep, first time I was behind the wheel in about 3 years, so it was definitely a bit of a learning curve, but it was a lot of fun to kind of hop out there with the Liberty Racing folks. We're going to be covering their championship race here on VidaneTV in a few weeks. A couple of other races we'll be picking up with them as well, but right now, most of the top 10, it looks like, are those Fords, and they look like they're still kind of stretching that fuel mileage out a little bit.
Like a little bit, yeah. Whoa, that got a little sketchy there going into that restart zone, which we hopefully may not need tonight. But yeah, it's a few of these drivers continuing to stay out. Believe.
Looks like John Peters came down last time by, got himself a set of fresh tires. Just looking at timing and scoring, handful of drivers, the top 10 still stayed out on a track. There you can see what fresh tires are doing here at the virtual Kansas Speedway. The 17 just drove around 3 trucks like they were standing still. Oh, that's because they were coming down pit road. Got it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that was part of the decision. And I saw Kenny Kibbe got a little bit loose there coming down pit road, but he woes it down just in time. And we'll see who can get off the pit road here pretty quickly. And sure they all got their winter pit products, don't they?
Speaking of winter pit products, shout out to Dan Winter. I know that he paced practice earlier this evening, fastest in practice coming into qualifying. So, just a little shout out for him. Something that may not show on the scoreboard right now, but just a shout out to the race sponsor. Sounds like he's a little bit under the weather, as seems to be the case with a lot of people. I know half my office is sick. I might have been patient zero.
Yeah, Aaron, you and I were just talking about that at the before we came on the air. Getting a little bit of that Florida pollen in your system, and just doesn't quite jive well. I don't know if it's this time of year or what it is, but hope everybody's staying safe and staying sanitized.
As we continue to watch things kind of circulate here. Here's the other 27. That's that Kyle Burkholder.
Kyle Burkholder, the 27.
The 27, just trying to click through the drivers as they come down pit road. There's some guys that are driving on around. Brent Roy already came down 11 laps ago. One of the first trucks we saw down on pit road. Reggie Parent as well in that 17 truck. We've watched him kind of drive up through the field. Kyle Burkholder down on pit road right now. You can see there's the exit, and there comes the 17 truck. So as pit stops cycle through, looks like it's going to be the 17 of Reagan Parent, Brent Roy, John Peters, Steve Daddio, and Ryan Messer, the top 5 as they run.
Yeah, Regan Parent having a great run there. I always love the Ford trucks because they just still have that. You don't see many of them these days, but they're in the truck series and whatnot. But I always love how the front of those it seems to have always had that consistent look ever since the creation of the truck series in 1995. As you can always tell what's a Ford and usually what's a Chevy and what's a Dodge or a Ram. I wonder if we're going to see any Rams come back to the NEP truck series sometime in the near future, kind of like in the real world.
They got to scan one first, and I'm sure if Matt called, I'm sure there's good money in that. But I don't even want. I know what they used to say. It costs $500,000 to scan a racetrack. I don't know what it costs to scan a race truck, but still, it's a lot of money to put up. But I'm sure with Ram trying to get back and with Stellantis trying to get back into racing, it'll be interesting to see. I'd like to think they'd put some money behind that. I'd buy that for $1.
There we see Brent Roy once again in the 26. He's actually our race sponsor for the Skeeball Arcade 75. Our sponsor driver and finished 4th here last season, 9.7 average finish, on 1.5 mile tracks in trucks. Arcel gave us a tongue twister there. But only 3 top 10s this season and 9 starts. I know he's had a rough go of it, had to sit out a race or two, not by his own choice. But yeah, his over-under for tonight, though, actually, I don't know. Arcel put this together pretty quickly, so I don't know if Brent's over-under is 6.5 or it says Steve. So I don't know what we're going to be calling that. But I don't know if you took the over-under for Brent or not, Paul, but I know you've got a bit of a battle. You've lost that point lead in the NEP bets, so I know you're trying to get that back.
Yeah, man, I gotta give a shout out to Ryan Salvatore. He reminded me that he knew I was having myself one of those nightmare-fueled travel days here in the real world of racing, and he sent me a message reminding me to get my bets locked in here for tonight because I missed 2 weeks ago, I believe. Forgot all about it, didn't get my bets in, and unfortunately got a big old goose egg on that. I had myself a pretty comfortable points lead in that, but now I think I'm trailing by 2 or 3 points. So we're doing what we can. We'll see what we can do. 2 races left. Well, a race and a half here left in the season as we are now past halfway by a handful of laps. Rocking lap 42 here of 75.
Yeah, you'll definitely have that some days. But right now we're having a good old time as we ride with John and Peter's Libby Septic Services car and their truck, I should say.
We'll get it right by the end of the season.
Yeah. But most of the trucks on the lead lap still. I believe we only have 2 trucks that are a lap down out of those that started. So no trucks out of the race, so no attrition. Nobody, obviously we haven't had wrecks, but nobody with any kind of connection issues or any of that sort going on tonight. And Regan Parent continuing to show the way, but he's got John Peters and I believe, let's see who that is that peeks into the picture here. Ryan Messer and Stephen Daddio all in the picture, and John Peters is going for it. He's going for the top spot.
Yeah, working on timing and scoring here. It's just like the real racing world. Every once in a while, timing and scoring just wants to do a little kaput on you. And, well, unfortunately, that's how it is in sim racing here as well. But there you can see Messer getting the position on the 17 truck. Everybody on equal sets of tires. The question is, I don't want to say the word caution. But if we get a caution, what do these drivers do? Do they stay out for the track position or do they come down and get tires?
That's a good question. I honestly, I'm noticing a little bit of change in tires. I'm looking at fuel consumption right now because I've got about 24 laps left in this thing. I don't think anybody's going to be able to go the distance at this stage.
Especially those handful of drivers. Most of the Toyotas came down there early by a lap or 2 just to get a little bit of more time kind of out on track. So
I put it relatively late in the sequence, but I'm also going flat out. If somebody can save, maybe somebody can squeeze a couple gallons out, but I don't think that's in the equation right now.
Here we go, 30 laps to go here in the Skeeball Arcade 75. Brent Roy, the presenting sponsor here this evening. If he gets into the top 3 here tonight, we're going to have to ask him what the story is behind tonight's sponsor here. That's always one of the cool things here with sim racing is there's always a story, especially here with the NEP series, about kind of the presenting sponsors. I know last year we had a foot cam sponsor, something to do with ladders. I couldn't quite remember what it was. I didn't write that one down. But there you see the 17 truck answering our questions. He's going to come down from the top 5, and we'll see what he does. See if he gets tires or fuel only.
Definitely interesting.
Oh boy, and we got a yellow.
Oh, what happened?
As I'm struggling.
It wasn't me, I promise that.
We'll take a look at it at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Remote production, not really the name of the game here in the sim racing world, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
While we're trying to find that, I think this might be a good call for Regan Parent, perhaps, because if he didn't come down pit road until right when the caution came out, I don't think he's going to lose a lap because the field gets, frozen and slows down.
I'm not sure if he did, but I know John Miller also came off pit road just as the yellow was coming out. Johnny should be on the pit lead lap still, so that might also be a lucky break for him.
Indeed he is. That's going to be interesting to see that 6 truck up towards the front. because everybody else came down. There's a few drivers that came down about 13 laps ago. There's also got drivers that have come down 26, 25 laps. So I got a feeling everybody's coming at this point. Going to need at least a splash of fuel, maybe 2 tires, maybe 4 tires, maybe no tires. Here in the booth, I'm not going to make that call.
I know what call you might be making, though, during this yellow flag.
I might actually
DoorDash.
shout out. No DoorDash tonight. Well, you know what?
okay.
We might do that tonight. VidaneTV/DoorDash. Hey, if you were hungry, grab yourself something to order right now. It should be there in 27 laps. They're pretty quick with it. But no, tonight we've got a frozen pizza. Actually, shout out to Skinner for picking that up here for me. I know Skinner and Josh, you might be down there watching the old tube on the VidaneTV. Fellas, if you're watching 26 laps to go, if you could preheat that oven for a brother at 425 degrees, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, so it looks like Reagan's parents lining up behind the pace car in 22nd. He may not have. He's going to probably try to get a wave around here.
Still,
There's a black flag on the 6 also, but that might be rescinded.
Yeah, that might have been an iRacing glitch where passing under the yellow. He didn't come down pit road, I don't believe. Yeah, he's right up behind the pace car as it looks. We'll see what the lineup looks like as we get through it. It's showing John Peters as the leader right now. And I actually see the 6 truck down on pit road. So that's rather interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's possible he made a pass through when he saw the yellow come out. I honestly didn't see what he did on pit lane, but you know, you have to kind of call those. You have to call those if you have a chance to maybe come back out, get back on track, throw the tires on under caution. But of course, now that kind of erases any advantage there.
Right, and one thing I'm actually seeing with timing and scoring here, usually you get about a 13, 14-second pit stop with these Truck Series crews, about a 22-second pit stop there for the 6 of John Peters. Might have had a little damage we didn't see there on the right-hand side. There you see Jeff Brown. How about that? Going to get the wave around that 27 truck, rejoin the lead lap, and that's going to put everybody but Scott McDonald on the lead lap still running this one.
Yeah, we got Kyle Burkholder coming out off pit road now, so that should put everybody up on lead lap. Well, maybe 23 cars anyway. I'm not sure who's 24th right now.
Yeah, 24th, showing it right now, the 44 of Scott McDonald. It seems like he's limping down pit road in that 44.
He had fallen a little bit off the pace in pack. I was racing with Brian Shipp, and he just kind of gave up. Not common for Scott to give up. He's pretty tenacious usually, so could be something wrong. Could have scuffed the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, that's safe for Barrel to reach out and grab you on the short tracks, the big tracks, and anything in between. Lights off on the iRacing pace truck. We're lined up 2 by 2 all the way through. Getting ready to rock and roll one more time. John Peters down to the bottom side. Ryan Messer up top. Brent Roy, Steve Daddio, and Evan Bollier the top 5 as they run. Kenny, Kibby, Jason, Ricker, Corey Casagrande, Dale Glessner, and Ryan Salvatore, ? Jeff Bradway going to be the top 10 as they get ready to take the restart. Everybody but one back on the lead lap, and we are green once again, barring a flag stand, letting them know it's time to go.
Look at that. I think my eyes are correct. We got less than 25 laps to go on this thing, so it is going to be crunch time as we continue on, as we're going to see how things shake out here as we get towards the end here. Brent Roy and Ryan Messer side by side, Evan Bollier and Steven Daddio side by side. Kenny Kibbe, here he comes in the number 4. This is the best he's run all night long. So, yeah, I don't really even know who to pick to win this one.
Yeah, there you can see the 2 championship leaders right there. Ryan Messer trailing by 21 markers behind that 4 truck there of Kenny Kibbe. Kibbe's doing everything he can to minimize the loss and maximize the gain. He's going to try and get up there and race that 1 truck just a little bit, but the primary goal for that 4 truck is make sure you keep that 1 truck close.
Close is what it's all about right here at Kansas Speedway tonight. This is some intense racing going on as we wrap up, or we wind down with the season. So we see Ryan Messer still right there in the mix, trying to salvage a potential championship currently, and he just ran the fastest lap of the race as he runs in second and hounding John Peters for that top spot. Definitely not as dominant for anyone as it was last year, as Ryan Messer won last season, leading 60 of the 70 laps. But he does have 3 wins on half-mile tracks in the trucks.
There's a whole lot of Canadian up in the top 3. John Peters, he's from Maine, so he's close. Ryan Messer and Brent Roy there in third. Brent's actually going to lose the third spot to Evan Bollier right there as I say that. He's from Maine too, so that's kind of close as well. A lot of Northeast action going on up at the top 5.
Those guys are still a few hours away from the Canadian border. They're not too close.
You're not
Closer
that
than I
far up in the moon, huh?
Definitely
No
closer than you
poopy.
are right now.
100%. Yeah, it's nice and warm down here. 20 laps to go there at the stripe. I've got a feeling we're going to see business pick up in a big way. One of the things I'm noticing here on this run, it's a little bit shorter than that first run, and it's not as aggressive as that first run. We saw at the drop of the green here at the beginning of the show, these guys were 3-4 wide, scraping the wall, beating and banging on their door handles, and now it's a little bit more reserved. You can see Daddy-O taking a peek down below the 56 truck of Bollier, trying to pop himself back into the podium. I got a feeling it's going to be one driver's going to hammer down, and we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a brawl fest here within the final closing laps of the Skeeball Arcade 75.
We need to see somebody get a little bit anxious and throw a caution here, because I don't have enough fuel to run on this final run. I'm going to have to pit if we don't get a yellow.
And that's what you were saying earlier, Jeff. You came down a little bit late in that last run there as well, so fuel's going to be tight.
It was to take that wave around. I had to stay on the track and not pit the last caution, so that leaves me a little bit short on the strategy, but I do have another set of tires in the pits, so that could get a little exciting if we have enough time to do anything with it, but we're going to have something happen in about the next 8 laps.
Yeah, you know what? We got a caution. That Jeff Brown machine is going to be my pick to win this thing. If you've got that one set of stickers still down there on pit road, we will see what happens. 18 to go. 17 drive riding on board with the Tundra Kid. Brent Roy holding on to it. Diving on low below the Referee Brewing number 99, the Daddy-O's Services machine. Trying to hold on to that top 3, top 4, top 5 spot, but things are getting spicy.
They certainly are. I'm just kind of watching in awe a little bit of some of these battles that we've had tonight, that's for sure. As we do see, like you said, it's kind of getting a little more single file than we've seen most of the night. But look at them thunder down that backstretch. We see Brent Roy currently in a top 5 spot, and they are a little side by side. There's Regan Perrin again, slicing and dicing through the field as he goes by Arsal, Dan Winter, Adam Henry, and others, and he is going to set his sights on that front pack again.
Regan, keep in mind, he was the recipient of that wave round as well. So he restarted 22nd on this run. So if he's already up in the top 10, knocking on the door of the top 5, that shows you, and basically with no tire advantage either.
Doing everything they can to try and lead this pack and try and storm up towards the front pack. Because there's 3 distinct packs here. As we take a look a little bit further behind the field there, you can see the pole sitter here in the 7CT, Corey Casagrande, back there, P20, all by himself, wondering if he's got some damage on that machine. A couple of other stragglers a little bit further on back. But as we rejoin the lead, Peter still has it. But for how long? Ryan Messer, he's been peeking his nose in on the high side and then the low side. I think he's trying to see, he's doing his homework right now. He's trying to see if he can get him on the high side, get him on the low side, trying to read the runs. You can see he closes right up to the tailgate of that 09 truck. Yeah, I think he's going to try and pounce here with these closing laps. Coming to the stripe, 14 to go.
Still a lot of time to decide things here, as we see Ryan Messer trying to track down John Peters in that 09. And Peters is racking up enough laps led. We'll have to see what that official lap led count is towards that whole NEP bets kind of deal when this is all said and done. He might have racked up about 38.
Yeah, you'd think we would have that on timing and scoring. I don't have laps led. That's actually kind of hurts my feelings a little bit.
All good.
But there you see the top 10 pretty much right under a blanket with each other. On these big tracks, anybody on the lead lap can come home with the victory here in this one, especially if we do get that late race caution and the crowd gets bunched up for a late race restart. But as we mentioned in Arcel's notes, we've only had 3 cautions in 3 races here at Kansas, and this last one last season went 70 laps green to checkered. And there's been some phenomenal racing here. Only had that one quick caution earlier on for an incident it wasn't big enough for us to even pick up here on our high-reaching computer system, but everybody's still clean and green. 12 laps to go now. They're still chasing the 09 of Peters.
Quite the fight going on here. Here's a battle side by side behind Brent Roy, Jason Ricker, and Jeffrey Bradway, trying to see who can settle it in the top 10. We saw Ricker a couple weeks back pick up his first career NEP victory, finally, and I know he was quite elated about that. He'd love to get back on that podium once again tonight, but he's got a little bit of ways to go there. Kenny Kibbe still a little bit further back in the field. That could make things interesting going into Dover next week if this race ends the way it does, where Messer could still have a shot at the championship. So right now, Kibbe about to lose a spot to Colby Burkholder. Again, is he conserving? I don't really know, because we're reeling in on 10 laps remaining.
Yeah, the quick time for that Ford Trucks, a 30.969. Last time by there at the stripe was a 32.230. And it's tough to tell, is that fall off or is that the Ford truck trying to save just a little bit, either for a late race green flag charge or something. Maybe he's going to try and stay out if everybody comes down pit road. Really hard to tell. That's why I hung the steering wheel up on the wall and picked up the microphone and started yelling at the race cars, because it's a lot easier for me to yell up here than it is inside the race car truck.
That it is, I guess. I'll take your word for that one. But we ride with Daddy-O's Auto Parts machine. I'll just say machine. How about that? Whether it's a car or a truck, it's a machine. As we see the number 99 running in the top 5.
Yeah, Peters, Messer, and Boyer still in the top 3. You can see Daddy-O trying to close up on the tailgate there of that 56 machine. That is easier to say than truck, isn't it?
Could say machine, ride, vehicle. You know, we got to start pulling some Ken Squire kind of tutelage, I guess you could say, and start using different words to describe everything every time they go by.
We'll go Cletus McFarland and call them hot rods.
Oh, there we go.
He stole that from Rusty.
There's that too.
Rusty was known to say that. The dirt modified driver, Dr. Danny Johnson, also is known to say he's got a good hot rod too. I remember when I used to cover a few of the upstate New York races back in the day on the Super Dirt Car Series and whatnot, that he would always go, I had a fast hot rod. And we'd always have to quote that same exact thing every time he did well. But we see Stephen Daddio getting a little bit of a run there on Evan Boyer here for third spot. This might be the time that Daddio can pick up a position. Looks like he's going to pull it off. Boyer is fighting back on the outside, though.
These guys doing everything they can to get the highest position up in the top 5. They've pulled away by about a second and a half, almost 2 seconds now over that second pack. So they don't have much going on in the rearview mirror. They're coming to the 5 lap to go marker. Marty in the flag stand already having the 5 fingers out there, getting ready to wave from all the way over there on the front stretch as we thunder into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, things are winding down here, and we see it it might be a calm before the storm here. The front 5, all single file at the moment. Ryan Messer currently running in second. Kenny Kibbe is falling to 10th spot. So that's a differential of, I think, 8. That's 8 positions on the track. I don't know how that, I believe that factors in the points around that amount too, but Messer has also led a lap today. So, yeah, he could be kind of pinching his way back into the championship race. I mean, Kenny Kibbe's probably still going to need to have some bad luck at Dover to lose this one potentially, but Dover, things happen pretty quick when we go there next week. If there's a wreck that occurs coming out on the backstretch, you're going to have to do some work to potentially avoid a wreck on the coming out of turn 2, because it's almost like a blind corner. See Johnny Miller coming down pit road again, and he had a big gash on that right side of the truck.
Yeah, went up into that outside safer barrier and said hello to it in a big way. And this is uncharted territory. Oh, a couple other drivers going up into that safer barrier, giving it a little bit of a scuff there as we get 3 to go at the line. Started saying this is one of the things that kind of plays in through this. This is uncharted territory, easy enough for me to say for these drivers. All the races here at Kansas Speedway, they've been 70 laps. We added 5 more because the racing has been so fantastic. And these drivers not quite knowing what is going to happen in these final laps, but you can see Daddy-O's doing everything. I think he might have saved just a little bit of something for the end of this one.
Maybe a little something here.
Oh.
Whoa. We're not racing clean anymore. There's no time for that when there's 2 laps to go. John Peters is liking what he's seeing in his rearview mirror, though, as Ryan Messer and Steven Daddio fight for that second position. Messer had to keep it a little clean, though. You don't want to end up losing control of the truck and potentially losing a podium position, especially when you got championship implications on the line. As we continue to watch another battle going on here. Brandon Uhouse, we haven't talked about him much, not just tonight, but this season, as he has only run a handful of races, but he's now pulling to the inside of Kenny Kibbe, trying to pick up a spot. It's actually Uhouse's only his 5th start of the season, but we continue to see the fight for second between Ryan Messer and Steven Daddio on this final lap here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, if they finish as they run right now, Kenny Kibbe's going to have some work to do. You can see in timing and scoring, still dropping like a rock in that 4 truck, having some issues with it. John Peters into 3 and 4 for the final time. He doesn't have much going on in his rear view mirror. There you see the flash bulbs. Get that 09 truck down there to DoorDash victory lane. John Peters going to come home with the W. Steven Daddio in the 99 going to finish in second. Ryan Messer going to finish third. Tonight's sponsored driver for the Skeeball Arcade 75, Brent Roy, going to finish in fifth. And Evan Bollier is going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, not many surprises there in those front positions. A little bit of door banging there going on at the celebration. Kenny Kibbe slipped to 13th at the end of that one. So that could definitely play a factor going into Dover. Maybe he's just trying to make it interesting for us. It makes for some interesting TV when we're going live next week.
Yeah, it's fun to imagine, but Kenny's not the kind of guy to lay down like that.
I don't think so. I was kind of just playing the devil's advocate.
It's fun. Believe me, it's a fun thought, and you'd think that that could make it interesting. But no, Kenny does not give up. Kenny does not give up anything that easily. He's a sim racer that wears his heart on his sleeve, and definitely not willing to give it up easy.
And there you can see John Peters climbing out of the virtual sim rig, pointed in the wrong direction, grabbing himself a checkered flag. John, it's been a minute since you and I have talked here in Victory Lane.
Hey, Paul. Yeah. Hey, this is a surprise. I didn't see this coming. So I think Aaron told me last week that I'd be good at Kansas, and I told Aaron I'm not so sure about that. I was pretty bad here last year, but I was able to learn from that and come out with a win. So it feels great. Good to talk to you.
Absolutely. Top 3 all night long. Came home, put that hot rod pointed towards P1. Not quite in the points, but a couple of trophies to close out the season. Not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Yeah, we'll take it. I just I made plenty of mistakes myself. Had some things out of my control happen, and this just wasn't going to be the year for points for me, but that's okay. You'll have that. It seems to kind of alternate for me that way. But I've just enjoyed each week trying to go for wins, and have been able to play some more aggressive strategy because of that too, and that's just been fun. So I really didn't expect tonight, but Dover's fun too. We'll see if we can play spoiler there next week or something.
100%. We've got to give you an opportunity to thank anybody out there who's watching. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
Thanks you guys for doing this. Thanks to tonight's sponsor, Skeeball Arcade. Thanks to 229 Autosport, my mom for watching, my wife and my dogs for letting me do it, NEP, everyone who puts it on. Appreciate it.
Hell of a run here tonight at the virtual Kansas Speedway. John, congratulations on the W.
Thanks, Paul.
We'll slide it a little bit further on down pit road. Hey, Ron, you've caught up with our second place finisher.
And that is Steve Daddio, and pulled off that second place run late in the going there. Talk about that battle you had with Ryan Messer.
Yeah, just trying to do something different. Riding around in third and fourth wasn't, dirty air, wasn't really cutting it. These trucks run a lot better when you got some air on the nose. You could steer them a little bit better. So 1 and 2 seemed to have a little bit of momentum on the high side. I couldn't do it the whole run. You're going to use your stuff up there. And then 3 and 4, you got to take advantage of that momentum down low. And that's, that was the plan. And then we executed. And thank you to Messer. He should have dumped me coming around the tri-oval, but did not. Again, another classy move. I hate him for it. But appreciate it, So coming home second there, it was a fun run. This place is, when it gets late like that, it's a lot of fun to run.
Yeah, and this gives you once again a little bit of momentum going into Dover. I know you're pretty much, I think you're all but eliminated from repeating as the champion, but I know you want to get back there in victory lane with only one victory this year, and Dover could be the place to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean we're always fast there. It seems like I don't know what it is. I tend to use my tires up a little bit more than the rest of the field, so the shorter runs suit me a little better. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it shakes out. That's also it's a pretty tight race, and there's a lot of coming and going, and different strategies. I think maybe it was a couple of years ago I won the championship because last year I'm pretty sure I was going for it, and I cut the final split in half, and it ended up not working out. But we were chunking time on the field, and if it went green, we might have had a shot at it. I think Johnny won it last year actually, but yeah, I'm excited to get back there. Looking forward to running the race.
Yeah, I could be getting my years mixed up after all this time, but going good second place finish tonight. Who would you like to thank?
We'll thank my sponsors, Daddy's Auto Parts, Reverie Brewing, YRD, my teammates, Kenny, Sal, Austin. Always fun having them along, guys that run the league. I appreciate. Love Thursday nights. You guys up in the booth. And then again, good run, Johnny, and thanks to not Junk. I mean, Matt's always fun running with those guys. It's the front half of the field. It's been really clean all year, and thanks to them. It's look forward to this. Like I said, every Thursday, real cool running out here.
All right, that's Steve Daddio finishing second. And Jeff, are you with our third place finisher? Did you climb out of the truck and get to run over to him?
I'm calling it a run is charitable, but I'm with third place Ryan Messer. Ryan, you obviously had a hell of a run going there. Came home third. The last few weeks on points have not been the strongest, but you're well poised going into the final race of the season. How's it feel to kind of build that momentum going into the last run?
Yeah, it feels good to finally get another good run going again. Just seems like this will be my fourth season, I think, trying to get a championship, and it just goes really good. I'm up in the top 3-ish for points, and then it just all comes unraveled in the last 3 weeks or so. So this was a good night to hopefully get that on track a little bit. I think I'm going to have to pretty near win next week, and Kenny have a bad race, and that doesn't happen very often with him. So it'll be it's a steep hill to climb, but we're gonna give it everything we got.
Now, obviously, you had some strong success to open the season. Do you kind of start to take that for granted at all at some point? And you just kind of assume the finishers are going to continue to work themselves out, or is it just kind of the fates conspire against you?
Anything can happen in these things. For a while, you can have everything go your way, and then the next thing you know, like you can't buy a good finish. Like it just comes in waves a little bit like that. At least it does for me anyway. So we had a bit of a rough patch, and hopefully be back on track to get some good finishes at the end of the year here. Only need one more.
You brought up that you pretty much have to win Dover to lock it in, and Dover is a different animal. It's our season finale. It's a different track. It's a tight track. It's a fast track. What do you think your chances are going to the Monster Mile next week?
I think I got a pretty good chance. It's a pretty racy spot, and I'm pretty decent there. But I also know that the 4 is also very good there too. So it'll be a tough battle, but it'll be a good race, I'm sure.
It's been a long season. Who helps you get to the track? Who makes it possible for you to be here Thursday nights?
Yeah, shout out to my friends and family that are tuned in watching. I'd always like to watch these things every Thursday. You guys up in the booth for putting this on at Vidane, and the NEP guys for putting these things on. It's been another really fun season.
Thanks, Ryan. Paul, I guess we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, man, heck of a race here. This is going to tighten up the points battle in a big way for next week's Spicy Ginger 99 up +1 at Dover International Speedway. Do not forget, we're still going to be live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live over on Twitch, but we're also making our live debut on Roku, on Amazon Prime, via Akuza TV. Get the app downloaded on the TV, get it fired up, check out some of the cool content on there, because we are going to be taking some of our sim racing content and throwing it up on there as well. Don't know if it's been done before, but we're going to be doing it here at VidaneTV, and we will catch you on the flip side. When we do, we will be doing it live.